Hello there everyone, this is Keshava Mysore. Um, I thought I would record a demo of the app that I have been, of the Arsenal app that I have been using for past couple of weeks. The latest version is 8.47 if I'm right. Um, I think it has been doing great. I will walk you through some of the mainly the smart module today regarding how to access various functions and how it's working. You can see it's the picture quality it takes, the merge quality it creates, etc. Since many of you already are making apps regarding opening, etc. And many people are interested in how it's actually functioning, and app is the major interface for the device to function. So with this, in this demo, I would like you to walk you through some of the very initial stages of what I have been trying after the latest update. So once you start the app, you connect it. It connects quite fast within a few seconds, and once you connect, it will take you to the home screen. Yes, it's connected, and then once it goes to the home screen, it won't take you directly to the live mode. So you need to tap on the eye symbol for the live mode, and within a couple of seconds you're on a live mode. So first let me talk about various focus points. There are three options. Click on that half square right next to the eye mode. That's the square or the focus point symbol right next to the eye mode, and it should take you to the various focus options available right now in Arsenal Smart Mode, or for even other modes also. There are three focus modes. One is the single point, the multi-point, and the whole scene. We will start with the single point. Single point does quite good. You tap wherever you want and it focuses quickly. It's quite fast. And then you go back to the smart mode and then tap on the shutter button right at the bottom, and you take a picture. And all the images can be accessed by tapping on the bottom right side square, where as a new images are taken, it refreshes it, and you can see a small thumbnail there. Tap on it and it will take you. So once you tap on it, the first thing will be to the latest image that it has acquired. I would have ideally preferred it go to all the like the collection, and then thereby you can choose the latest one. But anyways, it goes there, and once the green button goes, that means it has refreshed completely. It has you have got all the information from the SD card to the app. You double tap on it and move around, and you can see that it is. You can review the image for sharpness, and this is a single point. The sharpness, I'm not very impressed. It's good, and if you click on the top right hand, you can see all the images that are available on the SD card. And right now the two images that are there is one is from the smart mode, and another one is from one is the auto mode of the camera, and on the right side is the smart mode smart mode single point of the Arsenal. And next is a multi-point. Right now it can you can select up to 4 points for the Arsenal to focus, and in this this sample I choose around like 3 points, and it takes quite some time, approximately at least more than 2.5 minutes to focus all 3 of them. And at first it focuses it. Once the focusing is done, I have sped up here a little bit. Once the focusing is done, it chooses a optimal focus distance for all 3 of them, and then it chooses a right aperture value for all three of them. You can see it's like testing different aperture values, and yeah, it's find the right aperture for all three of them, and then it says it's done. And then now you head back to the smart mode and then tap on the image shutter, and then it takes the image. And then again you can review the image by going to the gallery. Once it refreshes it completely, and then yes, and also another thing that I forgot to mention is at the bottom of the image you can see it what aperture and how long is exposure, what is the ISO, and what is the exposure compensation, etc. And if you want, you can even delete it from within app. So this 3-point focus has done quite a good job. It is definitely better than a single point focus. And then the last one is the whole scene focus. Even from in the past update and the present update, I'm not very impressed with this. Again, it takes quite a long time to focus the whole scene. And then after that, to say I'm not very impressed with it. You'll see why when it takes the image. Apart from being it very slow at doing it, I don't know how it works out in the field for real scenery. I hope it is better, but at least in these lighting conditions, I have tried at least quite many times now. It is taking consistently from 30 seconds to 1 minute to focus the entire scene. Once it is done, you go back to the smart module and then tap on the shutter button, and then it takes the image. And once it does, it takes a few seconds. You can review the image, and the sharpness has definitely increased, as you can see here, but still the background, the foreground is good, but the background is not very impressive. It can definitely improve more. As we will see further, there are other ways to improve it. So one of the main features that was attractive not only to me but to many people is various merging options, either exposure bracketing or the focus bracketing, etc., which is right now is quite laborious to do with Photoshop. So what the creators claimed is that this app and device can do it on device and give us the output. So those can be accessed by tapping on the gear on the top left hand corner. Tap left hand corner of the app, and that should take you not only to those settings but also to various other settings of the app. Okay, I spoke before, so these are the various things that the smart mode is controlling, like shutter speed, f value, etc. So if you click on if you tap on the app, tap on the gate, it will take you to various stacking modes, but also other settings like exposure stacking, focus stacking. There's long exposure blending, and you can switch on or off the grids, and there is focus peaking, zebra stripes. So these two are something also very nice for people who own camera that doesn't have these inbuilt, like Sony cameras that have in my case, I don't have it inbuilt in my Nikon D750. So it will be a very helpful feature for focusing. So and there you have mirror lockup and various other stuff. Yeah, like I said, this is 8.47. This is the latest version. And to start with, I will be starting with the auto mode of exposure bracketing, and right now that is the only mode that is working. The focus stacking and long exposure blending are still in the processes. You tap on the auto mode. Basically what it is doing here is that the app itself will check the conditions out and decides what does it need. It needs exposure stacking or not. So I have tried it quite many times now, and most of the light conditions it hasn't used the exposure tracking when auto mode is on. You can see it right now here. Tap on it, and it will do the exposure stacking, or to decide if it needs to do the exposure stacking or not. go back to the smart module, click on that arrow on the left side top, and then I'm using the multi-point, tap on the shutter button and it takes the image. So once it finishes that exposure, again you can go back and review it in the gallery. Yeah, so it is refreshing the SD card reading, and right now it's there. You can open it, and yeah, the focus is good, lighting is good, so it has done quite a good job. But we'll go back and see what how it will work when you do a fixed. That means, so here basically you can set how many shots one you take. I think this, if I'm right, this can take up to 20 shots. Sorry, it can take up to 9 shots. I misspoke there. So right now I have set it to 3 shots and 1 step EV. Also, another thing that I need to mention here is that when I initially had issues with this, mainly I think it was at version 4.5 of the app, where it was really overexposing. You can look into my first initial review of this. The solution at that time that Ryan et al. Suggested is that to set it to matrix exposure metering and to set up the any EV value to 0, and I did that. Yeah, we'll see how does it do in this scenery, and it will show the progress. Here there's a progress bar. It tells how many shots of how many is being taken and does various exposure. Let's take the first shot and the second one, and finally the third one. Once it takes only 3 shots, it merges. Right now this is the only or sorry, it's doing it for all, but for right now it merges this on the device, and unfortunately it's not yet writing these to the SD card. So it is still giving you a PNG file that's present on the app. So I can show you a way to access it. So you can see it is showing a label it called EB, and similarly for others also. I will show you further when I do the demo, and these are the raw images that it used. Various, you can see it's one is 0, one is minus, and one is +3. So this is the merge app. It doesn't have any metadata there, and you can see it's still working on it. So it's not, the image is not that clear. Once the green bar goes, that's when it's finished doing it. Looks like it is done. Again, tap on it. Yeah, you can double tap to zoom it to 100%, and has done a decent job. So like I was telling earlier, right now the only way to access it, either you can directly share this to other sharing platforms like Facebook or Instagram or wherever. So what I did was that to access it in the Lightroom, I copied this to my Google Drive, and it saves it as a PNG file. While it's not a very high res file, it's reasonably okay. Like this one was around 8 to 10 MB, so it's not good, not that great, but it's doable. Once it's uploaded, you can access it and do and work with it if needed. So, and then another feature that was very attractive to many others was was the focus stacking. And focus stacking, there is no auto mode yet. It's the creators have said it's still in the works. So I will show you how does the fixed mode works. So here again you can set up how many shots you need. So in this case, if I'm right, it can take up to 20 shots. Yes, that's right. You can take up to 20 shots and it will merge all these on the device. So right now it is doing it for the fixed but not auto mode yet. So we will see how this performs. And when it's doing it again, this also has, and again I'm doing this for the multi-point focus. Again, this one didn't had earlier it didn't have the focus bar. Sorry, what I'm saying, it didn't had a progress bar, but in the recent update they have added that, and it's quite good, and you can see how it's progressing. Basically it is focusing on different plane of field and taking shots at those values, and then finally just like for the exposure bracketing, it merges all these on the device. And then again, this is still not being written to the SD card, it will be on the app, you can access it. So each session you can access it. Once you are done with the session and come back to the app, you won't be able to access it. So that's unfortunate, but hopefully it will be fixed soon. Yeah, it's all the 3 shots are there. So these are the 3 shots. You can see now this is labeled as FS, whereas the exposure bracketing is labeled as EB. So you can see it's gray. So that means it is still working on merging all those 3 different exposures. So it has done what it is still doing, fine-tuned. That's why you can see it's still green. When the green bar goes, that means it has finished this task, and you can see the full rest, whatever it is doing, the full rest of that, and see how good it is. And you'll see. No, it's still doing. We'll wait for some time. And I think this is when the app crashes. We'll see. Well, yeah, it is still, I think it is still doing it. Well, it is okay. It's not doing it what I thought it is doing, but I'm still seeing a green bar, and I know it's not yet done. So yeah, these are the individual shots where you can see the background is in focus, and the foreground is in focus. It was a middle ground, and this is a foreground. And just go back. It's still working on it. It is not completely done. Let's go back and give it some time. Well, nope, it is still working on merging. I mean, of course it's quite a complex task to do, so it's taking quite some time, and I hope these processes improve significantly in the future, because there's option for it to stitch around 20 images. So yeah, and I also don't know when it's doing it. If I think, if I'm right, we can still use the app, but I need to check back into the manual and see if that is true. So yeah, it's still going on. Okay, it's still not yet done. Let's go back and give it some time. Nope. Okay, I'll try to upload it. Hopefully it will finish by the time I finish uploading. And yeah, this is not a full res image, so you won't be able to see it that well. And I think we should be able to see the full res image on the app. Yeah, so this is the one in which it has focused on the background. Nope, nothing is happening. I can't even like share. You can see I'm tapping the share button, and now it's not working. Looks like the well, it's taking quite a long time. So we'll head back there, and I can give it some time to do. There is no way. Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, it's still doing something. That's when the gray is basically it crashed. So this is what I was telling you earlier, that this is when it crashes. But fortunately, what's happening here is that once I access the app back, those merged files are still there on the Arsenal app. I don't know if it's on a device or on the app, but it is there. This was not happening earlier. So once the app lost the connection and I got back to the app, those merges were lost. But right now, fortunately, that is not yet happening. It is still there. And once it is the SD card writing properties come, and it should do a great job. Yeah. So now you can see it is done. Yeah, like I was telling you, you can see. Okay, it's crashed again. Let me open it again. Connecting. Connected, and tap the gallery button. Yeah, I hope it doesn't crash this time. Yeah, so I want to show you the FS. It's a focus stack and EB. You can see the exposure bracketing. Tapping on the focus stack, it's okay, it's good, it is done. Double tapping, it's not very sharp and crispy, but you can see it's focused. The focus is good, but it's not crisp. You can see the background is focused, the middle ground is focused, the foreground is focused, even though the background is not completely focused. Now I'm doing the same thing that I did for the exposure bracketing image. I'm uploading it to my Google Drive, and from where I can access it in my Lightroom or wherever. Again, like I was mentioning earlier, it turns out to be around between 8 and 10 MB. So it's not a very high res, but at least for whatever it's doing, it is reasonably good. Yeah, I'm just renaming it. And yeah, like I was mentioning, this is a PNG image, and I'm not sure what when it starts writing it into the SD card, I'm not sure what it is going to be. It's going to be it's definitely not going to be a raw image, but it will be good if it is a DNG image. So it captures a lot of the properties of the raw images, and not a TIFF or JPEG file, which it's not of much use. So it's uploaded there, and yeah, I mean, so far it has been, except for that crashing at the focus merge options, it has been good. So here, this image has focused on the background. The foreground is blur. Yeah, even the boxes in the background, the tube in the background, which is far behind the chair, those are in focus. And then this image, it is focused on the chair, on the back frame of the chair. The foreground is blur, but the background is in sharp focus, and the background is blur. So, and in the last image, the foreground is in focus. The plane is in focus. So at the bottom you can see all the metadata of what aperture, how long exposure, etc. it is doing, and then finally it merges that. I will try to do more videos of this in the coming days. Feel free to follow me at Keshava Mysore Photography on Facebook, or on my or check out my website keshavamysorephotography.com. So right now, overall, it's doing a good job, though there are a lot of things that the creators have claimed and it's yet to do. Hopefully, they will be able to achieve it in the latest updates, and the shippings are going further as promised, and hopefully many more people will be able to get their devices, and they should be able to try it and let everyone know what they are seeing and how they are feeling about it. And what I forgot to mention at the start, which I should have done, is that I use a Nikon D750 camera with an iPhone 5s to use the app. So with that, I'll stop this. Yeah, if you have any comments or anything, feel free to comment either on my Facebook page or on my website. Okay, thank you for viewing.